Yogis, welcome to your Maya Align body language. Yogis, we speak using our voice. We speak using our posture. We speak using our movement, our motions, and the way that we take our practice. Our body has a language, and that body language speaks to all those that surround us. And our body is desperately trying to speak to you. Do you sit in stillness for long enough to hear its call? Can you internalize and take periods throughout your day to listen? And are you listening deeply enough to be able to interpret that language and provide what your body is calling for? Today, our Maya Align practice is listening to that body language and translating that into our postures upon the mat, into asana, leaning into the corners of our physicality that are calling out, screaming out, crying out for a little bit of love and a little bit of attention. Yogis, if you have a single cork block or a foamy is okay too, grab that now. And we'll be beginning today's practice standing. But take your cork block with you, and we'll just place that one at the top of the mat in preparation to assist us in our postures today. Rolling over the toes out of your seat and slowly finding the soles of the feet upon the mat and allow them to be shoulder width apart. We'll unravel the spine and draw to stand, taking a roll of the shoulders once we find our spine elongated. I'm finding a Tadasana. And often our yoga practice would begin with a seated breath work. For today's practice, as we're tuning into the language of our body, we'll be closing out in stillness, but we'll begin with movement to crack open our physicality, to connect to and to find those little points within us. There's a quote, the squeaky wheel gets the most grease. And we'll know this with our friends, our family, our children, the ones that surround us that are making the most noise, get the most attention. But what about those quiet little corners? Sometimes they need a little poke and a prod, and they need that little bit of encouragement to assist them to speak up and to express themselves or those parts of ourselves. And often, although the squeaky wheel gets the most attention, think about that as the big muscles of your legs, your chest, your back. What about those quiet little parts of us that are finding it difficult to speak up? Today's practice is connecting to those parts of us that we hold reserved, that we close ourselves off to, that we keep behind closed doors. Today we connect to that. Today we express those parts of ourselves. Today we share that. From your Tadasana, settle into stillness for one breath, maybe closing down the eyes. And take a long, slow, deep inhalation through the nose. Taking a body scan and running your internal gaze and focus from the soles of your feet up your body as you ever so slowly release the breath. Notice already where the squeaky wheel is, where the parts of us are screaming out loud enough that we're able to hear. And now take one more breath and reverse that scan, drawing from the top of your head, your crown, And slowly run that focus and that internal gaze back down the body. And notice the parts that you missed on that first round. Notice the parts of you that are maybe sitting quietly, crying in the corner. The yogis gently blink open the eyes. We'll take a roll of the shoulders, draw the palms to open. We're going to take a sweep of the sky, palms again open here. Inhaling, taking an interlacing of the fingers and open through the chest and the front body. Oh, sigh it out. As you inhale, we're slowly going to pour ourselves forward, rounding through the chin, rounding through the neck, rounding through the back body, softening the knees, the pelvis, and pour your weight forwards. Fingertips to the mat, hang the head heavy, hips nice and high. Inhale, take a sweep, unraveling the spine. Allow every joint here to be soft and supple. There's no force here and no control. We're simply melting forwards as you exhale and pour the weight to the mat. Inhale, take your sweep, finding that interlacing and opening through chest, heart, and shoulders. Allow this movement and this opening breath work to feel soft, to feel supple, to feel sultry. Removing all fixed control. When we select the joints that bend, that twist, we isolate. And today's not about isolating. Softening into those little corners within us that often miss out, that don't get that love and that focus and that attention. Yogis, we're going to take one more unraveling in this sultry, slow pouring. Inhale, draw to rise. If you have a jumper, socks, draw to stillness and remove those now as we're taking that same breath work and flow for a couple more rounds, but this time finding some extra heat, some extra fire, pouring some extra love into those points within us. Take an inhale and add some energy. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, open the chest, the heart, sweep. And as you take these next few rounds, I want you to take it as if you're dancing at home alone, like nobody is watching. Allow this to feel good. Allow this inhalation and exhalation to meet those points of view that you hold reserved. Maybe interlacing the fingers and open 3 more sweeps. Add some fire. Maybe allow the hands to drain, to trickle to the back body. Sweeping overhead as you inhale, draw to rise. Twice more. And taking the arms through a circular motion and feeling into front body and back body. Inhale, draw to rise. Hands into prayer, heart center. Close down the eyes if you haven't already. Find stillness. And in this settled moment, take your body scan once more, one breath. Noticing already the shift of energy. Slowly release the exhale. And take a walk to the top of your mat. Feet shoulder width apart. Let's take that same rotation of the arms, the roll of the shoulders, sweep the sky, inhale. Interlacing fingers overhead, open through chest, shoulders, and heart. Release that interlacing and find it low to the back body. Open the chest and heart once more. And this time, gentle back bend, running the hands down the backs of your legs. Allow your neck to open, your throat to open. We so often keep our chin drawn in, tucked in, and protecting our primary place of communication. And today we're pouring a little bit of extra love here. And drawing a little bit of extra attention here, releasing that interlinking. And take the hands nice and wide now. Finding that interlacing overhead once more. Open chest, heart, and throat. And this time, as you soften through the knees, the hips, the back, release and swan dive down. And finding that block at whatever height feels good for you. Inhale, halfway lift, find length through the backs of the hamstrings, using the block to maintain and to provide you lots of space for the belly. Exhale, soft bend in the knees, trickle down, hands to the calves, take the hips to the sky, and pouring the weight of your belly, your chest, your heart forward. Find the hands now interlacing behind the back body. Open through the chest, shoulders, and heart as you use the gravity and the weight of your arms to pull you forwards. Release and find the fingertips now upon the mat. Soft bend in the knees. Let's step it back with the right foot and find a pulsing sensation through the pelvis. Settling into stillness. Then we'll drop that back knee, release the toes, and slowly slide it on back, finding your Hanumanasana for a moment. Inhale, find a breath, and release through the back of the hamstrings as you trickle forwards. Inhale, rocking it back into your runner's lunge, releasing the hands, sweeping the sky, playing with that same interlacing that we've been playing with today. And take the fingers overhead first, sinking into your pelvis, melting in and opening through that hip flexor, watching that we maintain that nice big 90-degree bend at your front knee. And as you open, maybe take the gaze to the sky. Releasing that interlacing and rocking it back into that Hanumanasana as you melt it forwards, fingertips to the mat once more. And this time as you take it back into your lunge, we'll find the hands to the back body, interlacing, palms open, running the fingertips, the blades of the thumbs down the back of the hamstring, open chest, shoulders, and heart. And we'll draw back up to your neutral. Release the grip, fingertips framing that left. Release the toes. High lunge, giant step all the way top of the mat, reset. Unravel the spine, stay soft through the knees, the shoulders, and the back of the neck, the heart, the throat. Take a roll of the shoulders. Yogis, let's take that to the other side. And palms open, sweep the sky, inhale. Interlace the fingers, open through chest and throat. Release. Find the interlacing at the back body. Open chest, shoulders, throat, back bend. And drawing back up to neutral. Releasing that grip. Take a sweep of the sky. Then slowly melting swan dive, fingertips to the mat. Fingertips to your block. Halfway lift, find length through the belly. Exhale, melt it down, hands to calves, hang the head heavy. Find space for the hamstrings, pour the weight forward. And fingertips to the mat, deep bend in the knee, left leg steps back, giant step all the way back of the mat, pulsing through the pelvis, filling into an opening and a beautiful release through the front of that left hip, and bringing some warmth to the right glutes now, maintaining that nice 90-degree bend at the front knee, and then settle that left knee down upon the mat, release the toes, and slowly take a walk back. Right toes draw to the face. Hanumanasana, offering chest and heart. And take a walk, sinking into that left hip flexor. Light through the fingertips, we rise. Flip the palms and sweep. Interlace the fingers. Open the chest and heart and melt into the mat. Release the grip and find your connection and your stability once more as you rock a back Hanumanasana. And take your walk and find your interlacing to the back body, opening the chest, sliding the thumbs down that left hamstring. And feel into that beautiful deep expression through the entire left side, not just the hip flexor, but feel the quad release, feel the belly release. And slowly release your grip, rounding out through the spine. Hands to the mat, release those back toes. Take a walk all the way top of the mat. Let's add a little bit more fire as we draw to rise. Take a rounding through the shoulders, sweep the sky. Interlace and open. Exhale, release. Interlacing to the back body. Open, gentle back bend. And this time as you draw to rise, we're going to pour it forwards. Soft bend through the hips, the knees. Melt the heart, hang the head, shoulder and chest stretch. Opening the grip and feeling expressive by taking a few little rocks and rolls here, maybe some figure eights, some circular movements and motions for the shoulders. Allow this space to speak. And if it had words, what would it say? Let's settle into stillness to hear the call. Releasing the grip, hands to the mat. Deep bend, right foot steps back. Sinking straight down in that right knee to connect. We'll take a walk back and find your Hanumanasana. Pouring the body forwards. As you inhale and sink down into your lunge, we're finding a sweep of the sky. Inhale, draw to rise. My goodness. My hair is everywhere. It's communicating. Open chest, heart and shoulders overhead. From here, release. And find that interlacing to the back body. Open here. And this time you're going to maintain that interlacing, find length through the hamstring, and take a hands-free Hanumanasana. As you find that left hamstring in an open release, we're pouring the chest, heart, and shoulders forward just here. Don't need to go too deep with this. And drawing actively the hands to the sky. Notice how the chest speaks to you here. We're going to sink into the sole of the left foot, drawing back to our opening posture. Take a tuck of the back toes, and pressing into that left foot and the ball of the back foot. You're going to draw to rise. Once more, feeling into a back bend. And for stability, you can rotate that back foot out if you like onto a 45 degree, or stay on the ball of the foot, whatever's comfortable for you. Drawing into open through the chest and shoulders. We're falling forwards, folding forwards to find a humble warrior here. So we'll all meet with that rotation. And as you invite the chest forwards, the gaze leads, your drishti leads, and finding your chest, your belly, and your throat all in alignment with your thigh. And taking the hands overhead. So beautiful. Let's release that grip and we're going to spiral the arms to open. Right hand draws back, left hand forward, sinking in for your warrior two now. And that left palm flips forwards. Right hand's going to run the length of your right leg as you find a reverse sun warrior sweeping the sky. Deep side body opening here and feeling that sinking of the left leg, staying down nice and low. 90-degree bend, opening from the pelvis all the way up that left side body. And as you exhale, we're going to windmill the arms back via warrior two. all the way down to frame that left foot. Rotate on the ball of the back foot, sink the hips nice and low. Prepare to power to the top of the mat. Unravel the spine. Finding some fluidity now for your alignment. Roll of the shoulders. Palms open, we sweep. Interlace. Open to the sky. Release the hands. Find the interlacing at the back body. Back bend. Inhale, draw to rise. Tilting at the pelvis, the knee, pour the body forwards. Chest and shoulder stretch. Hang the head heavy. Release the grip. Fingertips to frame the feet. Deep bend in the knees. Left leg steps back. And sinking low and finding that left knee to connect to the mat. Light through the fingertips. Let's draw to rise. And backing off through the hips. Find the interlacing overhead. Sink down into your lunge. And take a release and find the grip to the back body. Thumbs to run down along the hamstrings of the left leg. Open chest and heart. Slowly rocking it back and finding a release of the right toes as you find a hands-free Hanumanasana. Maintaining that interlacing as you allow the right foot to connect. Tuck the toes, draw to rise, high lunge, staying in the ball of the foot or rotating out for stability on that left heel. Opening through the chest and then pour it forwards. Your humble warrior. Chest, belly, shoulders, throat, all in alignment with that thigh. Watching that right hip doesn't want to pop out because it will want to. It'll be speaking to you. Give me space, but it's your squeaky wheel. Draw it back and allow the rest of your pelvis to speak too. Hands overhead. So beautiful. As you draw to rise, let's release that interlacing and windmill the arms. Left hand spiraling to the back of the room. Right hand drawing to the front. And sink into your warrior two. Looking for that nice, deep 90-degree bend at that front leg. And flipping your front palm. Left hand runs the length of the thigh. Sweep and draw to rise, sending it overhead, sinking that hip and sinking into the front knee as you create space for the right side body. Inhale, rise. Warrior two, your transition. Windmill the hands and arms all the way over to find your lunge. Yogis, this time we're stepping it back and finding a plank pose, one breath. Let's drop the knees and slowly invite the hips back towards the heels. Your first Balasana. And from your Balasana, let's draw the forehead to rise. And planting the hands, let's ripple to our tabletop position. Allow the knees to be nice and wide, at least as wide as the hips. Hands beneath the shoulders. And from your neutral spine, we're going to be sinking the belly and taking the gaze to the sky. Neutral cat-cow for 3 rounds as you draw the chin into chest, doming through the back body. Opening up between the shoulder blades and really pressing actively into the hands to create this space. As you inhale, sink the belly, take a sweep gaze to the sky and sinking the belly nice and low, but focus through the throat too as you open. Not just in the throat, but across the collarbones. And twice more slow. Sultry inhale and find your breath being sent to expand and express through the back of the ribs. And take your release of the belly, sweeping through, gaze to the sky. Feel into the heaviness and the weight of your heart here. Open through your throat, across your collarbone. One more neutral round as you draw chin into chest. Let's sweep to rise. Beautiful. Yogis, from here we're going to be taking a knees, chest, chin and drawing down to the mat. As you take a release through the elbows, the bend we're sending towards the back of the room as you keep the hips nice and high, throat open, and connect your chin to the mat. And from here, with the hips nice and high and the chin connected, we pause for a breath. Elbows are tucked in. And then cinching on through to find your baby cobra. You can release the elbows and take the forehead down to connect to the hands to draw to rest. Now that scan that we took earlier, and we've taken it twice now, before your breath work and after, I want you to use this moment with the head connected down upon the hands to check in now with gravity flipped, with the front body supported and the back body exposed as you run the internal gaze from the toes up the soles of the feet. Run that focus and assessment up the body, taking your scan. And as you do so, with this first scan, notice for the squeaky wheel, notice what parts of your body grab your attention, what parts are screaming out to you. And as you find your way to your crown, slowly reverse that scan. Sending your focus from the crown all the way back down to the toes. And as you do so, taking this second scan, notice the parts of your body that you completely missed, the parts that are not screaming out, the parts that maybe now speak to you when you focus and introvert and really draw your gaze more deeply to the parts that are maybe crying in the corner. From here, releasing the forehead from the hands, we're going to take a sweep of these hands all the way around to the back body to find a Shalabhasana variation. That interlacing we've been playing with, take it now, and finding the palms to meet. And this time we're actively drawing the palms together as you extend the arms, drawing them towards the back of the room. Gaze, really important here, stays down upon your mat. So we're not looking up with this one and opening through the front of the throat. Spine staying nice and long. So as you take your grip, drawing to bring the shoulder blades back together to create some height and space across the collarbones. Feeling the back body contract and shorten to create space through the front body. And stay here for one full breath and we'll find a ripple. As you exhale, roll the shoulders forward, release that interlacing, allow the shoulders to round, and chin now opens and connects to the mat. Sweeping the hands and draw them all the way back beside the shoulders, beside the ribs. We're going to press into the hands and draw up to your cobra. Shoulder blades run down the back body once more, space through the collarbones. This time now taking the gaze to the sky. Rippling down your spine, allowing the belly to meet the mat, the chest to meet the mat. Hands back to find your pillow, resting the forehead, one breath. And each time we take this moment of pause, come back and connect and take a quick scan, checking in with what's speaking to you. Rise from your rest, take your sweep. Maybe forehead still upon the mat, hands to interlace. Inhale, one breath now, draw to rise. Eyes still on the mat. Exhale, roll the shoulders, roll the chest, release the grip. Sweep of the hands and allow the hands to come beside the rib cage once more. Inhale, draw to rise. Take the gaze to the sky. Exhale, slowly melting back to the mat. Your third and final time, yogis. Bringing forehead back to rest upon the hands. And this time as you draw the forehead to rise and take your sweep, your grip, send the fingertips towards the back of the room. Inhale and find space. In that moment of kumbhaka, in that moment of contraction, we'll now find that unraveling and that release. Release the hands and draw them straight back in beneath the chest. Your inhale to rise this time brings you into your cobra. And pressing into the tops of the feet, the knees, we find a ripple and it'll draw you all the way back to that balasana. Counter here as you open through the back body. And that counter pose is really important. The muscles of the back body have been through a really tight contraction, and it's important that they are able to express themselves too. And find a ripple back to your cat-cow just the once. Exhale, curling in, rounding in. Neutral spine, tuck the toes, plank pose. Left foot strides all the way top of the mat. Sink the pelvis. Right foot strides. Unravel the spine, draw to rise. Take that rounding of the shoulders. Sweep the sky now. Body's going to feel a little different. Interlace the hands. Release the interlacing and take it nice and low to the back body. And take your dive, pouring forwards, hands over the head, releasing through chest and shoulders, hang the head heavy. Release the interlacing. Fingertips to the mat, halfway lift. Sinking it down, deep bend in the knees, right foot steps back. Right knee connects. Untuck the toes, sweep the sky. That interlacing overhead to sink the pelvis. Inhale, back it up and find it to the back body. Sink down once more. You know where you're going, yogis. Release the back toes. Draw to rise. Open through the chest, the whole front body. Setting up that back foot and finding your humble warrior. Release the grip, unravel to rise, your warrior two, your transition here, as you sink deeply into that front left knee and invite the pelvis to open here, drawing it to the back of the room. Flip the left palm, right hand runs down the back of the leg. Reverse sun warrior as you sweep the sky. And this time as you draw back to that transitional warrior two, we're going to be sweeping that left palm to open to the back of the room. Right hand draws overhead. Inhale, warrior two transition. Reverse sun warrior. Twice more. Exhale, warrior two, your transition. Left palm sweeps low, right hand overhead. Nice long line for the right side body. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, final round. Exhale. Inhale, your warrior two. Right hand draws nice and low. Rotate the back foot. Step it into your plank. Let's drop the knees, untuck the toes, find your balasana. Inhale, tabletop, take the gaze to the sky. Exhale, curl it in, round it in. Open through the back body. Neutral spine as we tuck the toes and find your plank pose, draw to rise. Beautiful. Right foot this time. Steps all the way forward, release. Opening through that left hip. Left foot steps forward, unravel the spine. And take your roll of the shoulders. Sweep the sky. Interlace, release. Find the interlacing, open the chest, melt it forwards, hanging overhead. Release the hands, sink the hips low, left foot steps back. Drop that back knee, untuck the toe, light fingertips as we sweep to rise. Interlace the fingers, open chest, heart and throat. Release and back it off for the pelvis for a moment. Find that interlacing down the back body as you sink once more. And taking the gaze to the sky. Inhale, rise, tuck those back toes. And maybe finding that rotation as you slide it on down that back hamstring and then pour it into your humble warrior. Releasing the grip, we unravel warrior two. That transition as you melt down in and find that alignment with that front knee now, that right knee. Opening that right knee and the hip. Warrior two, we flip that front palm, sweep the sky, reverse sun warrior. Exhale. Your windmill this time. And pouring that right palm forwards, your left arm overhead. Long release through that left side body. Expressive. Inhale, draw to rise and sink. Flip that front palm, reverse sun warrior. And twice more, yogis. Warrior two, your transition. Sweep it overhead. Inhale. And sink, reverse sun, we sweep. And final time, exhale. And take it overhead. Inhale, draw to rise, warrior two, we sink. Left hand now collects. And we plant the hands, framing that right foot. Step it back, plank pose. Drop the knees. Draw it back, Shalabhasana. Yogis, as we find ourselves releasing out of our balasana, we're rippling back through to that tabletop and taking that same bend in the elbows as we invite the chest and the chin, the throat to the mat, elbows draw to the back of the room. And find that connection for your 8-point plank. Ripple through center. And Shalabhasana just the once now, or preparing the back body. And taking a sweep of the hands and find that interlacing. Gazing directly beneath the eyes upon the mat. As you inhale and find that space across the chest and the shoulders. Or stay for a breath. Exhale, sink it down, releasing. And take a roll of the shoulders. And forehead meets the mat. And this time, yogis, as we draw the gaze, we're slowly taking the hands beside the body and finding our Sphinx Pose. Now, a Sphinx is the posture that we're looking to come into in reverse. Elbows beneath the shoulders and the hands shoulder width apart. A reverse Sphinx. So from here, let's just allow the belly to sink and the shoulder blades to open, finding space across the front body. And let's take the gaze forwards, opening through the throat. And then take a ripple here as you sink into center. Hang the head nice and heavy. Let's ripple back to rise and find your block and setting it back in nice and close. Maybe flat and at its lowest point or position. Everybody will have their own adjustment here and their own height. I like to take it nice and low. And we're going to take a roll onto the back body. So we're finding here a Matsyasana, which is our fish pose. And drawing the elbows back in beneath the shoulders exactly as we did our reverse Sphinx as you allow the hands to extend down towards the end of the mat. And our legs are nice and long. And from here, just as we did in our Sphinx, we're going to be opening and drawing the chest to rise, creating that same space across the shoulder blades and slowly hanging the head nice and heavy. Now notice whether that block is in reach or not. And if it's a little bit far away, let's draw back to rise, chin back down to chest. And you can make an adjustment there. So there's an active and a passive version here, and we really want to rest to open through the throat and find a passive fish pose here. And finding yourself aligned, elbows directly beneath the shoulders, looking for that 90-degree bend. Spreading the fingertips nice and wide and pointing the toes towards the front of the room. Watch that those elbows don't sneak out because they're going to want to. So it's a drawing in of the shoulders as opposed to them sliding on out to the outskirts of the mat. We're going to take an inhale, find space for the chest, slowly opening the head, the throat, and searching for that block. You want the block at that point in that position that allows you to find the crown at rest, the back of the head at rest. So I've found mine. Make any little adjustments you need to find yours. I'm drawing the gaze towards the front of the room, but close down the eyes. And we're here for 3 full breaths, and notice whether you want to sink into the posture or whether you're able to express yourself across the chest, the heart, and whether you're able to stand strong and true within your Matsyasana. One more breath here. Beautiful. And as you slowly draw the chin back into the chest, we're simply adjusting that block and now running it up and down the mat and finding a release for the thoracic. And with the elbows still connected to the mat, you want that block to meet the base of your ribs as you slowly invite the back body to connect to the block, releasing your hands and hanging the head a little more heavy now. And you should find after that Matsyasana a preparatory fish pose, this one a whole lot more comfortable. Settling your neck into a comfortable position, and if this is still a little deep for the throat, then feel free to grab a second block to place it just beneath the head, or drop the block that's beneath your thoracic to a slightly lower height. So like mine on the highest height to get a nice deep opening for the chest. If you're feeling a little off balance, take the feet a little wider. Either way, settling the head into that supported position. And we'll take the palms to open, the shoulders to open. And you can rest them beside the body out on a 45-degree angle. Or if you would like a little deeper expression, plant the elbows to anchor in beside you and open, drawing the fingertips towards the front of the room. Listening to the language of your body and what it's calling for, how it speaks to you. And wherever you are in the posture, know that you're here for 3 more breaths, and I invite you to take a final active body scan as you compare your scan. From the tips of your toes, have the sensations shifted? Final breath. Reversing the journey of your scan, beginning at the crown, and drawing it down the neck. Noticing if that space and place of expression and communication feels a little less locked, a little more open. If it feels like there's some extra fluidity flowing through the neck, to the throat. Wherever you are, we're drawing back to that Matsyasana position with the elbows tucked beneath the body. Releasing the back of the head from the mat, draw the chin into chest and slowly walk the elbows back beneath you. Let's release that cork block out from beneath your shoulder blades. And then slowly invite the low back to the mat, the mid back, and your head. And find space for the heels, the hands. Three clearing breaths, and we're going to take this expressively and audibly as you melt in preparation for your Savasana. Your exhale will be your expressive surrender. Take a deep inhale and fill the lungs, feel the belly. Feel that expansion and the expression through the front of your heart. Preparing moment of kumbhaka and then sighing it out. Twice more, inhale, open, expand. Open your mouth, express, sigh, release. Final conscious breath, yogis, make it count. Inhale, expanding through all planes of the body, lift, release, draw the shoulder blades back. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Melting into your Savasana. And yogis, if you have the benefit of time at home, please hit pause now and stay for as long as you please. As you invite that listening, as you invite that body and mind connection, we connect back to the sensations, we connect back to the feeling body. And slowly draw the knees into your chest, taking a roll to your favorite side. And fetal pose, your transition today as you press the hands into the mat. We draw to a comfortable seat, your Sukhasana. Space between the ankles and the feet. Releasing the meaty part of the buttocks and allow the sit bones to connect to the mat. And draw the spine nice and tall and take a couple of rolls of the shoulders. Releasing through your neck as you take a couple of rolls and rotations of the neck. And when we stop, sit and settle in our Savasana, in our seat, in our Tadasana, whatever posture you opt for, whether it be through movement, through stillness, whether it be through your practice upon the mat, or that moment you take in bed before you rise each day. Listening to the language of your body and learning the language of your body. That communication is of vital importance. Let's draw the hands into prayer at heart center. We express ourselves vocally. We express ourselves through body language to others. Are you able to sit now in stillness? Tuning in, attuning to the language of your body, how it speaks to you, what it's saying. And it's through that connection that we create that we're able to interpret. Yogis, thank you so much for sharing your body language with me today. Namaste.